All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. It's another Wednesday, and it's not just any Wednesday. This is my Carniversary celebration. It's March 20th, March 22nd was when I started. Oops, I've got my other audio on. Sorry, guys. March 20th, March 22nd. March 22nd was when I went carnivore, and so we're going to celebrate today because it's Wednesday. It's Humpday Hangout and Humpday Meetup. And I got a couple great guests here, and some other people will be popping by to celebrate with us. But we got John, the carnivore teacher, and Christie from Eating Wellness, two great teachers. So I've got some teachers here. Y'all be a good class and raise your hand. Make sure you put QQQ. That's how you raise your hand here and ask your questions from these great teachers because they're excellent carnivore knowledge bases here. So anyway, welcome, guys. Why don't you just do a quick introduction for people that don't know you?
Christie.
Okay. Hi, I'm Christie. My channel is Eating Wellness, as it says right down there at the bottom of my little rectangle. And I have been, I guess last February, I went keto, but my Carniversary won't be until June because that's when I went carnivore, June of last year. And I started my channel just to sort of share my story because I thought I feel so much better. Like people got to know about this. So that's a little bit about me. How about you, John?
The carnivore teacher 365, as you see in my rectangle, my little box there. And my Carniversary, it was January, actually. But before that, for 3 years, I was ketovore. And a year before that, I was keto. So I've been doing this for about 5 years. And lots of healing going on and weight loss. And just from the inside out, so many things improved and got better, and I pay it forward because people need to know about this. I can't keep my mouth shut. It's just too good a thing, and it's free. It's knowledge, and all you have to do is listen to it, take it in, and make some changes in your life, and you're going to see some drastic, amazing improvements in your life in so many categories.
Yeah, John, and when you talk about that, so you started keto, went ketovore, and then finally ended up carnivore. So that was a knowledge process. That's a learning process, right? Because I know you're full of knowledge. You know a lot about a lot when it comes to this well, more than most doctors do. We'll say that.
Getting there.
So I would just say, it's definitely a journey for all of us, right? I mean, my journey began, my carnivore was pretty sloppy in the beginning. I mean, it was still carnivore, but I mean, I was eating a lot of snacks like bacon.
Oh yeah.
I was eating everything I could. But I just, my whole relationship with food changed. And I know that's one thing we all experience when we're carnivore long enough. And then, like we were talking a little earlier here, you have to find your why. And your why is the most important thing you can do on this way of eating because it'll drive you and keep you within the lanes. And then if your why gets big enough, then you might do a channel like this because it becomes beyond just you,
right? Where
you want to share. Like you just said, you need to get it out. Christie, why did you start your channel? What was your why to start a channel? Like what drove you?
Yeah, so I, like John, although it wasn't years, but I went keto to ketovore to carnivore. It was kind of accidental that I did that out of just laziness. Didn't feel like cooking the vegetables, so I just didn't. And kind of stuck with the fatty meat. And then the next thing I knew, my energy just skyrocketed way up. My skin got this like glowiness at the age of 48. Like, who even am I? My social anxiety that I didn't even know I had went away. My right hand, which the joints used to ache because, teachers do a lot of writing. Right, John, on the whiteboard. And you remember the old days with the
chalkboard,
yeah. The chalkboard. Yes, I had a chalkboard in my
I did too.
I used to have to clean the erasers.
And then the old report cards that used to be in quadruple kit, and you had to press really hard. Anyway, so my joints in my right hand would ache. Wow. Every day. My throat would hurt after talking because we talk for a living. And so by the end of the day, my throat would just hurt. Like, not because I'm not meaning sick.
Just a lot of talking.
Yeah. Like my vocal cords would ache. Just all these little things like that just started getting better. And then I started sprinting. Like this energy was like, what am I going to do? I think I'll start sprinting. And so all of these benefits, I'm not the person where you can see the before and after. Like check her out. She lost 100 pounds. Like I lost 20 pounds. Like you're not going to see some in a picture, you know, what happened to me. And so I thought I've got to talk about it. I've got to tell people, show people, you know, here's how I eat. Here's, you know, the symptoms that I've had, you know, in the past that have gotten better. It's really, like I said, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I don't have that picture. So all I've got is my 1,000 words. So we're going to put it out there and keep telling people.
Well, I've got pictures and I've shared them on my YouTube channel the other day. I think a lot of you guys seen it. Just how inflamed I was last year at this time. And it's an amazing journey when you, like I said, you know, it changes everything. It changes your motivation. It changes how you see yourself, how you see life, your outlook, how you plan for life. Everything just changed. So, and like I like to say, it's a life-changing event. If you guys saw, I was on with Dr. Baker the other day, and I said, yeah, it really is a life-changing event, like becoming a father or getting, you know, like when you got your teacher certificate, now you're a teacher. I mean, or actually when you first start your first job, that's when I would consider really you're a teacher. And when you got a classroom of kids that you're, you know, that is something, if you haven't done it, you can tell me about it all day long. I don't know. I've never been there. Same as being a father, you know, or a mother. And I think that's, you know, when you become a carnivore and you sell out, the changes are so radical in you. It shapes your character and it shapes your outlook on life. Your worldview actually is shaped by it, which is strange. It's like being a Christian or something, or whatever religious faith you follow. It does change your worldview. You see things through a different lens. So
that's it right there. You see things through a different lens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I was talking about, I think last time I was talking about They Live, that movie. Did I talk about that last week?
You did, and then you jogged my memory, and I remembered it, and I have to watch that again because that's you put the glasses on and you see all the subliminal words. Yeah,
it's available on I believe on Amazon for rental. So I think someone in my group actually watched it and said they loved it. And that because what it is I don't know if you've seen it, Christie. It's from the 80s. It was a John Carpenter movie. Back when John Carpenter was the guy. He was the it guy. He'd done some great movies in the 80s, and anything he did was fantastic. And it was just not a super high budget movie, but really good. But it has the subliminal messages where what happens is if they find this box of sunglasses, and when they put them on, and it's kind of a dystopian America. It's like kind of like it is today. But back then it was viewed as dystopia. But really it is kind of like today, where a lot of homeless people and no employment. And when they put these sunglasses on, all of a sudden, all the signs show what they really say. It's instead of subliminal. They put it on, and you know, when you see a dollar bill, instead of a dollar bill, it says "You're God" on it. And when you take them off, it looks like a dollar bill, right? And then you look, and then the signs say like "Consume," "Obey," you know, "Work," you know, "Procreate." All these signs. So it's like society sending all these messages. Really great movie. And I recommend everyone go ahead and check that out. I'm going to do a document or a movie review on it from a carnivore mindset point of view.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we do have like something to share and talk about. I found an article. If you guys haven't heard of Zero Hedge is a financial news site that I follow, and I really like it because they're not the mainstream media so much. They do a lot of side stuff, but it's financial focused, but it is also kind of focused on society at large. And this one is an article called America the Snackable. And I shared it with you guys. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read through it yet, but I'm going to add it to stage.
I did my homework, Larry. I did my homework.
Good job, Chrissy. That's great. And what did you think, Chrissy, since you did your homework? What stood out about this article to you?
At the end where they were talking about all the snacks, literal snacks with the food, but at the end when they're like, our whole society is turned into this, you know, with the memes and everything is a soundbite and a snack. And like, how can you really get the full picture? That's the part I was like, you know what? They're right.
That's the Twitter effect.
Yeah, the Twitter effect.
That grabbed me too. Yeah.
It affects our kids because they have no attention span. I can see the differences. I've been teaching for 24 years. When I think about the kids 20 years ago, even versus the kids today, they really can't. I mean, you have to work hard to hold their attention, even so much that the paradigm is shifting. Like you know, they call it engaging, but really, I think a lot of times if that, you know, if our principals and those people don't see that we're doing something fun, if it's not fun, then we're not doing our job, because the kids won't pay attention.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. We didn't have fun in my school, but the teachers had our respect. I can tell you that. I mean, actually, we did have fun, but it wasn't the focus of the class, right? I mean,
right. Yeah.
So I love this. This jumped out like the very beginning. It's like there's only one pathway to health and sanity. Stop consuming snackables of any kind, and that's health and sanity, right? That's the mental and the physical. And he said everything in America has become snackable, devoid of value, easily consumed, intentionally addictive, and ultimately destructive to all that is healthy for individuals, communities, and society at large. That's not a small thing. That is like, this is existential threat stuff.
It's like injecting a virus into America. I mean, just let's
and then actually the West, not just us. Anyone that follows the WHO now, but we led the way, right? For sure,
we did.
We led the way, unfortunately, and squandered our stewardship.
And they're using the dopamine hits. They're using whatever way they can to get all this. Like when we're on the cell phone, and when the kids are on the cell phone doing all their different little apps, and we experience it too. We get these little rushes, these little happy hits of dopamine when somebody likes something, you know, and then they transfer that onto snacks and food and all these things that are immediate feedback, immediate responses. And you know, people don't. I don't know, they're like sheep to slaughter. They don't realize it's happening to them. You know, we need to open our eyes and see that this is going on. This article really reveals that well.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a link to it. In fact, I can put a link in right now.
Yeah, so people can get the read.
So let me put the link into the comments just so you guys can see it. But and I recommend you download it, print it, send it as a PDF to people, whatever. Get it out there to people, because it makes so much sense, and it's exactly what we're up against. And really, when you look at item 6 that highlighted, I like the snack is a legal addictive product.
Yep.
As the snack has been designed to hijack humans' innate receptor for sugar, salt, and fat, and the satisfying mouthfeel. But you just can't have one. You got to keep eating. And that's the
bliss
idea.
point. Yep.
Yeah. And like John said, it's not just food though. It's if there's a documentary on, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I recommend you do watch it and recommend it to others. There's a documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. And it is a docudrama. So it's a documentary, but they also have like a little story of a family that tries to quit using their phones. And like you said, John, the phone companies actually built profiles of these kids, and they know their schedule because the calendar's on Google Calendar or whatever. Yeah, not Google. They just say the calendar's on the phone. So they know when they're out of class and they should be looking at their screen.
Exactly. Timing.
So we're going to hit them with hey, this person just said like this, and they're going to send it to that person again to look at that phone. And Absolutely. It's crazy, but it's such a good documentary. And it's a bunch of tech CTOs, CEOs from these companies when they started that have left and said, this is not what we intended. You know, we intended to be fun. We intended to be this fun environment. And now it's turned into this machine to just build profiles and
this is kind of what scares me with AI. You know,
that's AI's next step. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
It's
the other day that we were dismissing the students, and I stand at the gate and say goodbye to all my students individually as they leave. These two little boys, you know, they're 10, 11 years old. And one of them, they're going to, I guess, go hang out at one of their houses. I don't know. And the one boy goes, hey, dude, you want to go watch some TikTok? And the other one was so excited. Yeah, let's go watch TikTok.
I know.
That's what we're going to go do. Like when I was a kid, we went outside. We rode our bikes.
We played. Yeah, we built forts.
Until the street lights went out,
right.
man. Until the street lights went out. Oh, yeah. We built forts. Right. We roller skated. Whatever. You know, did gymnastics.
Which they would do if they didn't have the cell phone. This destroyed so much. I know, as you know, Christie, as a teacher, this changed our way of teaching too.
Yeah,
the kids, their attention span.
Yeah,
as wonderful as it is, you know, gosh.
I used to know everyone's phone number, all my friends' phone numbers.
Yeah, I still have some memorized.
Oh yeah, maybe the old ones. I don't have any of the new ones. I have none. Like it's on the phone, so I don't even know my son's phone number. That's how bad that is. It's on here, and yeah, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing.
We had the old dial phone.
Yeah. With the long
cord.
You could go in the other room.
Go into the
And then my dad would get on and be very mad. He'd be like, "You just saw your friends all day at school. Why do you have to talk to them on the phone? Get off."
The extension. That was my first question when I had my very first cell phone in like the year 2001. I'm like, can you get an extension? Can I get a cell phone where you could pick another cell phone up and it's the same?
Yeah, because that was great. Back
right?
I mean, you could listen in on calls.
Put somebody else on and have a joint conversation that way. Yeah.
Then, of course, the internet came and there was the dial-up modem that knocked you off.
Oh,
If you don't pick up the phone, you got knocked off the internet.
Yeah.
That's why you had to have another line. And then you got a dedicated line and the talk line.
These terrible snacks. They all look
So
so
that
good
part
to me.
was interesting to me, Larry, because it's Trader Joe's. They were talking about Trader Joe's is coming out with all these new snacks now. Trader Joe's is billed as like a little bit of a healthier grocery store. I would
they're
say.
not.
But they're not. And if you look at these snacks, they're just. I don't shop there, but the article was talking about all the new snacks even Trader Joe's is coming out with.
Yeah, I mean, most of the food at any grocery store, and I'm not just going to pick on Trader Joe's, but Trader Joe's is definitely not any healthier than any of the other ones. They have banana chips, all these things that are apple chips, fruits, all the things that we know that are not the proper human diet are sold there. So therefore, it's not a healthy place. I mean,
well, and the fact that the majority of the food in all the grocery stores, think about. The outer aisles is hardly any. That's where all the, the meat and dairy and stuff is. But it's the middle aisles that are the bulk of that store, and it's all horrible for you.
We were talking about commercials. I forget who I was talking to it with. There are commercials about all of the snack foods, all the junk foods, all the cereals. There are never commercials on buy this meat. Here's some bacon. Buy this bacon. Buy this.
There used to be
chicken years ago. You're right. Years ago.
What's for dinner?
But not anymore.
Edible egg.
Yeah.
But I think some of that came was the egg and beef industries, I think, trying to fight against the low fat craze, right? When it was like eggs are horrible for you. They raise cholesterol, and then they came out with the incredible edible egg.
Yeah, I remember
now
that.
It's all snack food and cereals and junk food and fast food.
Let's go through what they say a snack is, and we'll just so a snack is made of highly processed ingredients. Okay, we got that. A snack has a high concentration of sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats and oils, and that's for, I believe, mostly for mouthfeel and the oils and fats, and for
well, that's the bliss point there. You got to have the fat goes with the sugar and the salt to reach that point.
But the unhealthy fats, the reason, and the plant fats are cheaper, I guess, and also they're they allow this stuff to shelf stable.
Preservative. They act as a preservative. Yeah.
The snack has a low nutritional value. That's being generous.
Any nutritional value.
Empty calories and is not beneficial to health. That's true. Snack is packaged in small quantities, so the price appears cheap.
Right.
Yes.
But is revealed to be expensive when converted to price per pound. Oh, Nia just joined us. I'm going to bring Nia in. You guys know Nia?
I know Nia. Hi, Nia.
Yeah, so we're just talking. Nia, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Oh yeah. Hey y'all.
Hi.
She's my native my native neighbor up north in the Dallas area. And Nia's Way is her channel. So check it out, guys. We're just going over like what the definition of a snack is according to this article. This is a great article, Nia, and I posted a link in here. I'll put it back in the comments. It's America the Snackable, and it talks about how snacks are destroying America. It's really good. So I just posted it in the chats if you want to check it out. So what were you saying, Christie, about the package size being small?
Oh, I did a short about that with like granola bars, like those Nature Valley crunchy granola bars versus, ground beef, and like the ingredient list, and then like the price, they're actually more expensive per pound. And you eat the package of those, which there's 2 granola bars in there. I'm pretty sure that it shows that the serving size is 1 bar, but they package them 2 together.
That was that's the next point.
Yeah. And then you're still hungry after you eat that.
100%.
So and the same thing with the recent, the Kellogg's people saying eat cereal for dinner if you want to save money. No, a pound of your cereal is more expensive than a pound of ground beef. and I'm going to be hungry in 20 minutes after eating that
Right.
cereal. There's no nutrients in it, and it's actually hurting me. So no, thank you, Kellogg's. I'll pass.
Yeah,
You
the
watch
snack-
any show on television now, they're all eating cereal. You ever watch like
Wow.
sitcoms or whatever? And I mean, even movies, there's always a scene with the breakfast, and it's always the boxes of cereal. It's
Mhm.
so embedded in our every part of our society, just like smoking was years ago when everybody smoked in the movies, and smoking was normalized. And here's a cigar, you just had a baby, here's a smoke. It's the same thing with the food industry now, with the snack industry. You're seeing cereal and snacks and all the bad stuff normalized as part of celebrations and daily food, and it goes into people subliminally. They constantly see it.
Yeah, 100%. Nia, did you have something you wanted to add, or were you just asking her?
No, I think I've been listening in as you all have been talking about it, and I agree with all the points. And the first thing that popped into my head when I read it was, it's almost like when I go in the grocery store, and I rarely go through those aisles where all that junk is. Most of us, we hit the meat section, maybe the dairy, and we're out of there. But
Right.
Yep.
it's almost like you need a translator, or you need to be a translator of all these words. Like one of the pictures in there was, I can't remember the one that made me think of this, but something about real chocolate or filled with dark chocolate, the waffle cone thing. And it's like, immediately my mind goes to flip that over and see like what it, because it's not just dark chocolate. There's going to be emulsifiers and all these other things in there that, just looking at the front, you would never even think would be included. But once you read the label and you realize, oh, there's 40 things here that I can't pronounce that aren't real food, it starts to look more, it gets further away from, this benign waffle cone with dark chocolate.
It's
It's
Joe's. It has to be healthy.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Trader Joe's, and dark chocolate has been billed as like the healthy chocolate, right?
Exactly.
That's why they put dark chocolate and not just chocolate.
I'm going to print out little signs that say oxalate, and I'm going to go in all the stores and just stick them on all the dark chocolates.
Or you can just print a label. It's like oxalate content, and put that on the shelf below everything, so they know what they're getting.
Yeah, danger.
Right.
So number 5, Christie, was the snack serving size may be deceptively presented. A 4-ounce package may have a calorie count based on a serving size of 2 ounces, as if the package contains 2 servings, when everyone knows a single serving will consume the entire snack. Right? You're not going to open a package of 2 granola bars and eat one. Typically, at least I wouldn't.
Right. Or Pop Tarts either. Pop Tarts are doubled up like this the same way.
Yeah.
No one's opening that thingy in one of those.
And Pop Tarts, oh my God, the paragraph list on those
I know.
is ridiculous.
Saw your video on that. Yeah,
I
they
love
serve
them.
those to my students at school.
Yeah, I love them
for
too.
breakfast.
I love brown sugar Pop Tarts. I mean,
They were my favorite. Yeah.
I loved them. I gotta say, they taste good. They got that bliss point right. They
They did. They really did.
They really did. Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. So snack is a legal addictive product. The snack has been designed to hijack humans' innate receptor for sugar. Again, we said, and salt and fat, satisfying mouthfeel. So it's the key driver of America's declining health. I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
We agree with it, but
Yeah,
the average Joe out there who's walking around in a fog, eating cereal every morning and having a whole bunch of snacks sitting on the couch, don't think that. They don't know that. And that's why we have our channels.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people might they actually think, well, of course, snack foods are bad, but when I'm eating some Trader Joe's, so it's good, that kind of thing. I mean, they don't know that there's a difference. There's not a difference. Like whether you go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, you get banana chips. They're bad, right? It doesn't matter.
People are also trained to look at just calories and and fat. We were trained to look, it has to be low fat, and the calories, I don't want to have so many calories. And they're not looking at the ingredients, or they look at them and they go, I don't know what all that is. I'll just trust them and eat it.
And the yogurts, I mean, girls are famous for eating those yogurts. I just remember, in the Army, they'd always go in the and we have the DFAC, the dining facility, and they grab the yogurts because they're going low fat and low. But I mean,
Right.
if you look at what's in those, they're terrible.
It's
like
like sugar. So much sugar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel sorry for people now. Knowing that what they're doing and thinking they're eating healthy, right? So that's kind of the sad thing.
And it's even worse for kid stuff, like
Oh yeah,
the little
Oh,
the
yes.
Go-Gurt packs, and they put the cartoon, which she doesn't watch any of the cartoons yet that are even on these things. But I did notice one day she pointed out, oh, it was the hungry caterpillar. She likes that story of like the very hungry caterpillar, and it was on a box of, I think it was like cornflakes or something like that, which I've never bought, is never in the house. But she was like, look, it's the hungry cat,
Yeah.
and like how they get these kids looking at this stuff at 4, that's disgusting to me.
That's the way they got kids to look at cigarettes before. They're using
Yeah.
the same companies
Candy.
actually using the
Yeah.
same methods to get the kid. I mean, even when we were kids, I don't know about you, Larry, but I used to dump the box of cereal out so I could get the prize, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's for children.
It's been going on forever. I mean, remember Count Chocula
Yeah.
and Frankenberry, all these things like that's what I grew up
Yeah.
with. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
and tricks for tricks are for
Tricks are
kids.
for kids. Yeah.
Silly Rabbit, right? I mean,
We
they
know all the
basically took our favorite-
words too.
Yeah, they took our favorite cartoons, which back then were Bugs Bunny and stuff, and they made it into a cereal, and we would and I think it should be illegal. It really should. I think they marketing products to kids like that.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I remember I wanted Lucky Charms so bad. Like my mom would not buy them for me. She
Good
did
for
buy a
mom.
cereal.
because that's a
She
bad
bought-
cereal. The
she
other ones
bought
are
a
good,
cereal.
right?
Yeah. So she had a line between like the bad cereal and the good cereal. But so she wouldn't buy us like Frosted Flakes or Lucky Charms or anything. But I wanted them, and every stinking time we went to the store, I'd ask her. I didn't wear her down though. She was like, no.
Good for her. Yeah, everyone had the cereal, and
Cheerios
vegans
and
love
Rice
Pop
Krispies.
Tarts.
Yeah.
Pop Tarts are
Mhm.
vegan, is that right?
Are they
probably
vegan?
are.
Yeah.
Okay.
They probably are. I could have been. I probably could have been a successful vegan then if I could eat Pop Tarts.
So many
and Oreos.
crap foods are vegan. It's anything that's not meat. It's vegan.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So, I've been on Carnivore for a year now. Starting tomorrow, or 2 days will be a year, and
Yay.
my cravings were really, really strong in the beginning, and now I'm so far removed from like wanting a Pop Tart. I don't want anything to do with a Pop Tart. But I remember watching Dante Fregno's video. I think it was 127 Days of the Lion or whatever it was, the first one he did, when he said he had Pop Tarts like after 90 days, and he got sick after because he just like, oh, I'm just gonna have Pop Tarts, and he ate them, and immediately, and he said they didn't even taste good either. They didn't, and I imagine that's probably if you put one in your mouth now, it wouldn't taste good.
We're so used to not, having all that sugar that it's probably going to like
It would be overload, right?
overload. Exactly.
For sure.
I don't want to do that to myself because I know that to me, that's like heroin. If I touch that, I just know I'm going to want more. I may get sick, but it's going to turn a switch on in my brain because I'm addicted to sugar. So
yeah. And poor kids don't stand a chance because they'll be addicted pretty quick. And I don't know about you guys with grandparents, but a lot of grandparents, they just want to give the kids what they like.
Yeah.
And I experienced that.
Yep.
And now I talked to my dad and his wife, and they respect my decision not to. So that's good. But my exes, they didn't. And they would, they're like, well, he likes it. And it's just like Dr. Chafee said, well, he probably liked cocaine too if you give it to him.
Yeah, he did say.
But but I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, I just think we have to be a parent and not just a friend. But grandparents, I know that's what they like to do.
They want to spoil them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember going to my grandparents, and it's kind of sad because my grandfather passed away of cancer, and my grandmother had a stroke. But I can remember back in the 80s, we'd go up to visit them, and it was rare because I'm in Southern California and they were in Northern California. But I remember her telling him, no, you can't have eggs and bacon for breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to eat this cereal and this non-fat milk. So they'd have all this cereal, and then she would have like a little thing of sugar. Like, I could pour all the sugar I wanted on that cereal when we were there. But I couldn't have bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
So it
that's
makes me
so-
wonder, because she fully bought into that in the 80s, and that's how they ate all the way up. And it's like, look at how they each, had their end. It's like, I bet if they would have kept their diet, their original diet, they would have lived much longer.
Yeah, South Texas Homesteading says, and they always show a picture with a glass of orange juice, 2 pieces of toast, and
Yes.
cereal, and say it's part of a healthy
breakfast, and the
And
phrasing.
none of that is healthy. None of it.
Droned into our brains constantly.
And then the other thing is, breakfast itself is this construct, and not only is it a construct like the most important meal of the day, it was a marketing thing to sell meat. When they, I don't know if you've seen this on Evil Food Supply, they have a documentary, but there's another video too about it that I saw that kind of confirmed the same things. But basically there was no such thing as people usually just skip breakfast back in the 1910s, 1800s. They just didn't eat until they were hungry. There was no 3 meals a day construct. And this whole thing started as a marketing, the marketing companies have done a number on us. These, what do they call them? The guys, the madmen, Madison Avenue men. Yeah, those madmen guys, they just, they have done a number on food. They came up with breakfast as the most important meal of the day kind of thing. And just to sell breakfast food, not because there's any fact behind it.
I believe Kellogg started that. Yeah. Because they got to sell the cereal.
Yeah. So it's definitely not true, because now that I don't have breakfast, I'm better than I ever was. Do you guys eat breakfast typically?
Only if I'm hungry. So typically no, but occasionally yes. Like if I'm hungry and I've got to go to work and I'm like, I'm going to be miserable by recess if I don't eat something, then I do. And then it's usually some eggs. Like today I was hungry, so I had 3 scrambled eggs and 2 tablespoons of butter, and that was my breakfast. But usually I wait and I eat it at lunchtime, which is about 11:45 for us. Like John knows, a school day is very regimented, right?
Yes, it is.
So it's 11:45.
You can only go to the bathroom at this window, so you
yeah.
have to eat at this window.
Right. Yep.
So here's a good one from Amber. I think one of the love languages is food, like getting enjoyment from feeding the people you love, the foods they love, and that's true. And actually, I know I talking to a carnivore today who went to a friend's house, and they had made her a special meal because she was having a rough week.
Yeah.
But
Comfort
it was
food.
a meal that she would not eat, but she felt so obligated to eat it because they went out of their way to make this big Italian meal for her that she ate it and got sick. But I mean, it's like people's love language. And if you were to refuse that, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot.
I've done that.
Have you?
A few times. I mean, just like eating something because it was, and it's like a big event or something. I didn't want to be like the only one not participating. So, I mean, I totally understand that. It's not like, I wouldn't say I would do it at this point, but early on, yeah, there were a couple times where I did that.
Yeah, I think at this point, I would say, I'm on an elimination diet and under doctor's advisement, which I am. Not my doctor. We need a doctor's advisement. I am, several doctors actually. But, I say I'm on elimination diet. I can't eat that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to eat this portion of that. I'll eat the meatballs or whatever. And that would be pushing it for me, because I know the meatballs have stuff in there I don't want. But, I would probably do something like that. But I would not eat bread and pasta. Oh my God. And a salad. Hell no. I mean, that would destroy me. My gut would be destroyed, at least for a day. But that happens. And if it does happen to you and you do cave, literally you can fast your way out of that pretty quick. I think once you've been healed up, you're going to feel like crap for a day for sure. And John, you're going on a cruise.
Yeah.
Right. And what's your strategy on that?
Well, I'm real good at it now.
Okay.
I have a card. I don't have it with me, but I think I showed it to you in the last video. I actually have a card that I printed out, and it says big letters, no, and I list seed oils because they don't know what a seed oil is, usually a lot of them. And then I put, I list all of the animal products that I'm willing to have if they have it on their menu, and to please cook in butter or beef tallow. And I go to the restaurants ahead of time on the cruise ship, like the day before for the next day. I need to see your menu. I pick what I want on the menu. I attach my card with the paper clip. The manager knows. They will do anything do anything because they want your rating. That's how they actually get their money. They get graded by all of their
Wow,
clients.
performance based. What
It's
a
very
novel idea.
performance based. And so I eat very well on a cruise, but I don't eat what everybody else eats. And there is food everywhere, and there's bad food everywhere. And I, just like I do here in the grocery store and everywhere, I just don't look at that. I get my food. I eat when I'm hungry. I have 2 meals, again, like I do at my own house. I have 2 meals a day. And I eat a big steak. And it's so funny. They always ask the same questions everywhere I go. But don't you want the broccoli? Don't you want to give it to the person you're sitting with? And don't you want it's always the psych. And then they bring out the plate and it's just a piece of meat on it. And they're upset because it doesn't look as good because they like to garnish it and decorate it with all the other crap.
Right.
But we're flying out tomorrow. Going to fly and then to San Juan. Then we're picking up a Virgin Voyages cruise. It's going to be an 8-day cruise. It lands back in Miami.
Nice.
And then I'll get back home here and I'm going to eat steak. Is
that your first Virgin cruise?
No, it's the second one, the second Virgin cruise. And
So
they're
you like it?
fantastic. There's no children on there, Christie. It's kind of nice.
Oh man, that
Nobody-
sounds like a nice
Nobody
break.
under 18, even though it's
I
like
love
spring
that.
break time of year, nobody under
Yeah.
18. So maybe some of the college kids will be on there, but it's really relaxing, enjoyable. You get into the rhythm of a
Mhm.
cruise. I bought a bunch of books from
Good.
the bookstore recently from Amazon and kind of catch up on my reading.
So Nourishment
Fantastic.
Redacted joined us. Welcome.
Hey, hi Ellie.
Glad Ellie's here. Eric Ball says there's like a channel with 10 people that are carnivore, I guess. 8
Yes,
kids and 2 adults.
I just watched one of their videos today. I was interested in it because it was about how
Nice.
they pack their lunch for the kids.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I might need that for my son. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, she was given a bunch of tips on how they do that. It was really well done too. So,
I have a video on that actually, and I've had a lot of people on doing because I made carnivore lunches for my son, so I have a video,
okay.
so you can check it out. If anyone out there wants to, and what's funny is a lot of people that did it, like, oh, I'm going to use that for my lunch. Like the parents were like, that's a good idea. Because just some of the things I did, like deli cuts rolled around cream cheese with toothpicks in it and that kind of stuff. I made all kinds of meatballs.
You just have to prep the night before.
Yeah.
I did it when I was ketovore at school. You bring all my lunches.
Yeah, those videos really help parents because parents, you want to give your kids healthy options.
You do.
And you don't want them to look weird, and they don't have to. They can have real food and not look weird with their friends, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what I did. I would give them like cheese whisks, which is the
They're
cheese
good.
crackers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're really good. Yeah, and they're pure cheese.
Pure cheese. Yeah.
So that's why I put those in. Those are his crackers, and he could eat those. So all right.
Yeah,
Yep,
I asked my son if because he started packing, taking a different kind of lunch, 6 weeks ago. And I said, do you get any weird looks? Because he goes, no, the first day, but it wasn't because of what I was eating. It was because I brought a lunch instead of getting school lunch.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? You brought food? And then now that, it's not a big deal.
So I give my son canned water, and it's called Liquid Death.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it looks like a
Seen it.
sports drink or like an alcoholic
There
beverage.
you go. Yeah.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
teachers are always checking it, like, let me see that can,
Yeah.
make sure he's not drinking some sports beverage. And it's like, no, it's just water. And it's European water. It's from the Alps. So,
Oh, wow.
it's really good. It tastes fantastic.
Is
I always
it
keep it-
sparkling? Like, is it bubbly?
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Okay.
that.
I'm
You
going to
can
have to
have
try that.
sparkling.
I don't like sparkling water. I can't do it.
No,
I've
it's still
tried.
water. It's still
Okay.
water.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try
I
that.
send them with still water. I have sparkling water here, which I do like. And by the way, if you're putting iodine in water, put iodine in sparkling water, you don't taste it at all. Your tongue does not detect any iodine. So if you don't like the taste of iodine and you don't drink coffee or something, you just put it in sparkling water, put 2 drops in and drink it. You will not taste it 100%. I guarantee it. That's how I do it.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try that because I'm trying to cut out the decaf again. I've been using that as like the vehicle for high fat and my iodine drops that I take every day. And I thought, could I just put it in water? Would that, could I do that?
It tastes funky when you do that, I think.
Yeah.
But when you
But
put it in
sparkling water?
sparkling
Okay.
water, you don't taste it at all. So you can do like Topo Chico or something. I use the actual HEB because we have HEB here. I don't know if they have it up in Dallas, but we have 1876 water, which is their HEB brand, and it's from a Texas spring, which is nice. We have great spring water here in Texas. The underwater aquifer is pretty awesome. So,
can I ask you how much iodine you guys do? Because I recently upped it to 3 drops. I just have the 2% because that's what I already had. But after watching that interview with Dr. Barry, and I forget the other doctor's name, and also with Dr. Bright, I upped my drops to 3 drops, and I'm wondering what you guys do.
I do 1 to 2 drops, and
Okay.
sometimes I'll put them in my eggs. Sometimes I just put it in my water. I have this big water bottle that I drink all day long, and I just put it in there. I don't even taste it. And sometimes if I'm on the run, I just put it under my tongue. I don't mind the taste.
Wow, that's I do mind the taste. So
I do mind the taste. Yeah.
I applaud you. I applaud you, John. How about you, Larry? What's your iodine level that you take?
I do 2 drops, and I don't do it every day. I do it a couple times a week. And I drop them, like I said, drop it in a bottle and drink it. And I use I think it's the 3%. Is it 2, 3, or is it 2 and 5? I forget. I have the higher one, whichever.
I think it's 2 and 5. I've never.
I
do
2 of 5. I do it twice, like twice a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and then I do shrimp, wild caught shrimp every once in a while, and I have salmon. Like on the other days, I know I'm getting a good amount of iodine. Sometimes I skip a day or two because I know I'm getting my seafood that has it in there.
right.
See, I don't like seafood and I rarely eat it. And so, I know it'd be better for me probably if I got it from the seafood, but I just.
That's just another source. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you get seafood, you have to make sure it's wild caught and not
Absolutely.
raised. Otherwise you're just eating kind of like empty calories. I mean, they're better than snacks, but I mean, they're not going to be like a regular fish.
Yeah.
Because regular fish are carnivores and they concentrate all these things in them. Which is what you want. That's the idea. Mm-hmm. They also concentrate bad things in them, like mercury and stuff. So if you want I guess you could just eat sardines, and sardines don't have much mercury in them at all because they're kind of the bottom of the
bottom. Yeah, there's you've heard the acronym SMASH: salmon, mackerel, anchovies, herring, and sardines, SMASH, and those are the really tiny ones. And they're the ones that eat the sea kelp or whatever, and they don't have any mercury because no fish have eaten them yet. And the mercury multiplies exponentially as the larger fish eat them. That's why the big tuna is loaded, and what are some of those large fish are just loaded with mercury,
grouper and such. Yeah.
Oh, big, yeah. So you stay away from that.
Swordfish, yeah.
Yeah. Swordfish.
It's just like us, and heavy metals will concentrate in your body. It's never leaving, and that's why you want to limit your exposure to heavy metals.
Right.
So that's same with fish. Yeah, they have the same deal. Let's see. I was a drunk and used to keep food for my daughter like Pop Tarts. I would have a candy bar once in a while. Let's see. Straight of peanut butter. Yeah, peanut butter I couldn't keep in the house either. And actually, once I became carnivore and read, I thought when I was keto, I thought peanut butter was healthy. But then when I became carnivore, I looked at the recipe and I was like, or what the ingredients, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like one of the worst things you could eat is peanut butter.
Well, I switched to almond butter when I went keto, thinking, okay, and it had no added sugar, and I knew nothing about the oxalates, and I ate a lot of almonds and almond butter, a lot of nuts in general.
Yeah.
Until, of course, Mr. Kidney Stone showed up, and then I educated myself. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because I used to make almond bread when I was keto, like use the almond flour, and it's like just egg and almond flour and like baking soda and then some seasonings. And it's, you think, it's low ingredients. It's really, not low carb essentially. Well, it's lower than, regular flour, but I mean, I used to make those loaves once a week and consume them. And now I don't get kidney stones, but I think that's what my psoriasis is still like. I think that's what's coming out of me.
Could be. And
some joint pain. So
how long
away
have
from
you
the
been
nuts.
carnivore this time? Because you've gone on and off a couple times, right? So you're on now?
Yeah, I'm almost at the end of 8 months.
Okay.
And I was 11 months the first time. So I haven't made it to a year yet. I'm like, I better make
11
it
months,
this time.
almost. You'll make it this time.
So yeah, I think it'll be for sure.
Yeah,
Charlene, yes. I look at Charlene's question.
Yeah,
now.
I was just gonna type yes, but you said yes, so I won't type yes.
All right.
I didn't
Yes,
see. I'm
Charlene,
not
the
down there
answer is
yet.
yes.
I'm
Oh, all
scrolling
right,
down. There's
sorry.
so much. We got a lot of people. We have 50.
It's a lot of people
on there now,
tonight. It's a
so,
lot. Yeah.
Let's see. I used to eat peanut butter with a spoon. Yeah, I thought I could trust myself. No, peanut butter for me was a no-go. Now my son eats peanut butter. He's gone to ketovore instead of carnivore, so he's eating more whole foods.
Better.
So I buy Central Market, which is HEB's kind of Whole Foods brand. They have whole peanut butter made just of peanuts, just roast peanuts, only one ingredient, and that's what I get him. So he can have that on, and in limited. I do apple slices with peanut butter for him. That's what I usually do. It's a good snack. I mean, he's a kid. They're so resilient. I mean, we're so resilient. It's so amazing that we are so resilient that we could survive all the poisoning we put our bodies through for decades.
Right? Yes.
Right? And so kids, I mean, they're just like on steroids. Like,
Well, they bounce back. They have wide
So good.
bandwidth of healing powers, almost
Yes.
magical. But when you hit our
It
age, you do the same exercises and you eat the same food and you don't get the same results. And that's why we became what we are today. We're watching
Mhm.
everything and learning and just imagine how healthy we would be today if we ate this way when we were kids all the way up till now.
Man.
I wonder if I would be taller like Rick, right?
Right.
And,
yeah.
I wish I had started 40 years ago.
And I try
Yeah.
to tell that to my son because he's making his own decision now. And I'm just like, if you want, I mean, I feel bad that he had braces and I guarantee he had braces. I
Yeah.
know why, because my ex didn't breastfeed him the whole time. And we went to formula early thinking, I thought it was healthy. Doctor said it was healthy. I didn't know. And I guarantee you that is part of the problem, that he wasn't, breastfed as long as he probably was designed to be breastfed. And also he didn't, growing up as a young child, he ate a lot of snacks, goldfish and all that garbage.
Yeah, Dr. Berry talks about this. He fed his kids, little pieces of a bone and meat and everything, and then they're using their jaw muscles at a very early age,
Right.
and therefore the teeth are growing improperly. And then, what do some of the kids eat today? It's mushy, soft, crackers and goldfish and Gerber's baby food. They're not developing their bone and jaw muscles, and there we go with I had braces too. A lot of teeth problems actually.
Yeah, I didn't have any braces. My teeth were great, but I guess I probably ate more meat and stuff. I don't know. And I was breastfed all up to the point when I guess I finished. So it was good. But yeah, I think it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
For mothers, I mean, going forward, if anyone's watching this is going to be a mother or in the future being a mother, definitely look into breastfeeding, and if you can, as long as you can, and not as long as you can, but as long as appropriate. Some people take it a little too far, I think. And then also, you look at just don't give them formula. I mean, formula is just straight up poison.
Oh, read the ingredients. It's vegetables,
Yeah.
it's seed oil and
Seed oil.
sugar
And soy. Some of it has soy formula.
and soy. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's terrible, and it's so inflammatory. And I think Dr. Berry was saying one of his kids used this word. I forget which word it was, but it was very impressive. They're using these really big words and knowing how to use them in a sentence. Do you remember, Nia? I mean,
he told me in our conversation, it was,
oh, I was watching your video then. That's when I saw it. Yes.
well, and he may have said it somewhere else too, but it was, I want to say confounding, but that's not it. It's
it's something like that. It was a pretty amazing word.
I'll think of it and just blurt it out randomly.
Yeah, it's fine. That works. And he just,
but it was impressive, whatever it was.
Yeah, and his son's like a toddler, right? He's like 5 or 6 or something. He's not really.
Yeah, I think he's right around the same age as mine. Somewhere within a year, I think.
No, I'm sure he's hearing parents use words, because they're educated. They speak.
Oh, they're sponges.
Yes, and they're talking around him a lot, and he's probably picking up words. But
and his father's a doctor, and his mother's a nurse, and they have, and he's hearing all these. He's probably listening to their Monday Night Lives and everything, and all the technical terms. They're picking it up and repeating it. It's great.
I think it was congruent.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
was it congruent?
Yes,
I think
that's
he said
what it was.
congruent.
I wonder if he knew what it meant.
In the sentence.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's true.
And,
was it a well
proper
sentence?
But he said it.
Yeah, and I kind of worry about that too, because I look at my son and stuff. And I remember when I was his age, I would read the newspaper in the morning when I ate breakfast with the family. We had the newspaper, we'd all breakfast it out, and I would read articles and we'd talk about them. And
good.
now they watch videos. I don't know about your kids, but the
they
kids
do.
just watch videos,
Yeah.
YouTube or whatever, and they watch videos. And it's like they don't read like we used to. And I don't know how that's changing their thought process, because they're just consuming instead of, when you're reading, you're being proactive, you're thinking, it's a little different. You're not just being fed.
Yeah. A lot of kids now say they don't like to read, which makes me sad.
Now, my son likes to read. He's
Good.
read The Hunger Games. I'm buying him Dune because he loved the movies. And now that
good.
he's bought into the movies, he knows the world. I think he can read the book. I read Dune when I was in high school. Fantastic book. If you guys haven't read it, check it out. It is amazing. It's long though. It's a haul. But I read so many books when I was in high school, and then when I was on the submarine in the Navy, I was in the Navy for 6 years on submarines. Back then, we didn't have like a lot of movies and stuff, so we used to buy series of books. Like I buy a Piers Anthony series and throw them in my rack, and we could only had limited storage, so other people would buy other series and we'd swap them mid trip, so we'd have more books to read. And that was our only escape to get off the submarine. And I liked outdoor adventures, fantasy adventure, whatever, just things to get me away from being in this box, where you could not focus on anything more than 100 feet away. There's no blue sky. It was always light where you worked, always dark where you sleep. It was basically like worse than prison, because we didn't get to go outside every 24 hours, get some blue sky. So we didn't get to shoot hoops.
I can't imagine that. I'd be so
Yeah,
claustrophobic.
I would not like that at all.
Well, how long were you in the submarine at one time? Like the longest time?
The longest mission I did was 97 days.
97 days of no sky, no.
Well, no, we did
outside.
break through the ice. We went to the North Pole.
Oh, you went to?
broke
I
through the
remember you
ice.
said Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the North Pole, stopping in Adak, Alaska. So, but a lot of us didn't get to go up. On only people on certain people had to go up on the ice. But most of our missions were, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks.
That's
but
a lot of time.
Over the 4.5 years I was on, I was underwater for 2.5 years.
Wow.
So we were gone, 2.5 years. That's why I look young, because I didn't get sun. My skin wasn't damaged. I'm turning 58 here, and I'm feeling pretty young. So, but the submarine was an amazing adventure for a young man. I would never do it again, but I was glad I did it, and it was very interesting. But we used to read books, and that was our escape. And I got that from high school too, because in high school I think my first author that I read was like Stephen King, that I just read through the whole book in one night. I read Christie in one night, and it just I was up all night, and then it was on a weekend, and the next day I was just like crashed out. But I don't think kids do that anymore. My son does read, but not like that. I don't know were you guys avid readers when you were growing up at all?
Oh yeah, I would read. I love the Chronicles of Narnia, and I read them multiple times. And back in the day when you had to like take actual pictures on film, and then you'd wait months to get that film developed or whatever, so that the picture came back, and there was this close-up picture of me laying on the couch reading, and I have no memory of my mom taking that picture.
Wow.
Because I was so into the book, and she just got right up to me and snapped a photo. So yes, I read all the time. My kids too, all the time, until now that they're, I've got 15 and 18, they don't read so much. They, they prefer the electronics, but they both were avid readers. That library cards, we'd go, they'd check out 6-7 books at a time, knock them all out, go and get 6 or 7 more. But yeah, now that they're a little older, they game with their friends, and hopefully I can get them, maybe in the summer we'll be able to get them back over there and get some stuff out of the library.
Get them a reading challenge.
Yes. Yes.
My son's school does that. They do the reading challenge, which I love. And I still remember my reading challenge book when I was in high school. We had to pick one from the list. There was 100 books, right? And I read this book called A Canticle for Leibowitz. You've got probably never heard of it, but it was really a great book for a young person. It was post-apocalyptic, about these monks that went around and tried to salvage blueprints, because they didn't know what blueprints were, but they thought they were important. So it's post-apocalyptic world is very interesting, and how they tried to bring back society. I was really into it, but It's funny that I can remember that though. And that was freshman year in high school, I think, when I read that. So yeah, it's so funny how books can really make an effect. Oh, here you go. Seymour.
Yay! A
Love
fellow
Narnia.
Narnia friend.
I tell you
See,
what.
I'm totally like a nonfiction. I was always a nonfiction person. I liked reading textbooks, and I could
That's
never
me.
really get into fantasy and stuff. And I was actually jealous of people that could sit there and like, there'd be, this one girl that would come to class and just be like reading her, novel. It was, I don't know, Harry Potter was probably when I was in high school, I think, when that got really popular, the book series. But, there would be these couple people that would just be like reading these novels and part 2, part 3. And I'm like, I could never get into that. And you were talking about how you read the newspaper in the mornings. While eating, I would read the food labels. Like I would flip the box over and read, or like in the bathroom, I would like read the toiletry, like the labels on the toiletry things. And I don't know, I've always been that way.
That's interesting. Yeah. I when I was a kid, I would get in trouble and get sent to my room, and we didn't have internet or anything or TV back then in the room, right? So I had my encyclopedias, and I would read those. And I still have a World Book of Knowledge. I found it at a thrift store. A whole series is missing one book.
Yeah, we had World Book, the whole thing. Yeah.
I have it. I was missing one book, and I went on eBay and I found the book, and I replaced it. So I have a whole set now, including the yearbooks. Cool. They have the year in review, 1973, 1972, 1970. I've got the kids' books in the bottom, and I got the full set. And I proudly display it. And I told my son, I said, that was
our internet. Yeah.
That was the internet. Yeah, that's all we could use.
We did all our projects and reports using that.
And I tell you what, he used it this year because he was doing a story on the Mexican-American War.
Okay, good.
And he had to find the 4 most prominent battles in there, right? And the internet had a lot of conflicting information. And I said, there you go. You can't trust it. I said, but guess what? That World Book of Knowledge probably has the right answer because it was edited and published, and it's fixed, and it hasn't changed since then. So he went and looked it up. He's like, "You're right, Dad. It's got the top 4 battles right here." I'm like, "There you go." It was great. So
nice.
So he has some appreciation.
And knowing
old school, I love it.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
And like knowing how to look something up in a book like that, I think is so important.
That's a skill that's
knowing
lost.
What a bibliography is, or the index, and going like, "Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?" and then finding the page numbers associated. Like, I don't know, is that still something people need? I guess if the lights go out, it will be.
It's a skill that teaches you. I mean, we may not need to use it now, but remember the old phone books? Having to look up a person's name. Christie can appreciate this. I remember one time I was getting so frustrated with my kids one time with the cell phones and the internet, and I said, "Guys, I think our Wi-Fi was down in the whole school." So I took a cart and I went into the media center, the library, and I got a whole set of encyclopedias that were in there, and I rolled them into my classroom. And I said, we are going to do an activity with this thing called an encyclopedia. They didn't know how to look things up alphabetically.
Wow.
It was like old school. So they thought it was cool because it was old school. And I told them this is all we had back in the day with a card catalog and everything. And they had trouble. It took them a long time just to look up something. They were counting on their fingers, A, B, C, D.
Wow.
Right. These are 8th graders.
Yeah,
these are the kids that can't tell time on an analog clock and write in cursive. And
my son can. He's got all that because I have an analog clock.
Good. But I think we have knowledge that they don't have anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what about the Dewey Decimal System? Are they still using that?
They're still in the
libraries. Yeah. So I work at UT, University of Texas, and we have a lot of libraries there. Only one still has books. The rest have all been converted into meeting rooms, study areas, and only one has books.
Really?
And then, other than the actual individual, like the engineering school has their library, the law school has their library. Those are different. But as far as like general libraries, there's only one with books now. So that kind of blew me away. I was like, wow, that's so different than when I went to college. When I loved the library too. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite place to go study and look at girls and all that other stuff. Oh, I wasn't doing that. I was studying. Yeah.
Well, even
Sure.
now, walk into a Barnes and Noble. To me, it's like I can
Yeah.
I can stay in there for hours and get lost and sit down in an
Exactly.
aisle and just pull out all these books. And then, it's like, God, I wish I had more money. I want to buy more things and
Mm-hmm.
more books.
Yeah, I do miss books. I mean, I like they used to have Barnes and Noble. They had some other ones too. They had a bunch of different bookstores.
Oh, there were
before
lots of them. Yeah, and then a lot of them closed.
Amazon came along and kind of destroyed most of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, Amazon's like a two-edged sword. It's got a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. So let's get back into carnivore then.
Yeah, we left.
We left carnivore.
We
Wait,
really went.
Carniversary. If I was to say, hey, look, Carnivore Scott's here. Hey, man,
Scott.
I haven't seen you in a long time, brother. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here, man. So we just haven't talked in a while. So 1 year in, and I would say, again, I've said it before, the mental health changes and my attitude and the way I feel, my energy, that is what I value the most right now. I mean, I love that I feel good and I had to change pants and change all these clothes and stuff. That was great. But I really do think that the biggest, the most important change I've had is really my mental health. And I don't know about you guys. Like, what would you say if there's like one thing that you changed that you really appreciate the most? What would it be that you appreciate the most on your journey? If you could pick like one area, not even just one thing.
Gut health by far.
Oh, were you just?
And then
How sick were you? I know you were pretty ill, right?
I was, yeah. I mean, I started having what I would consider, I guess, moderate to severe IBS, digestive problems, when I was like 15 or 16. And I'm 37 or 38. I can't remember.
So young.
Now. And I
So
found,
young.
so it took me like, in my early 20s, I started thinking like, well, diet has something to do with this. And I, started with plant-based and then vegetarian and then vegan and then found paleo and then slowly cut things out until I realized I could only tolerate meat. And that was like 2017 or 2018. And so, yeah, it's been just 15 or so years of daily. I mean, it ran my life for many of those years. It decided how I was going to feel at work and like what I was going to eat. And it destroyed my relationship with food. I mean, just that was kind of the cascade of all the things that went wrong, and mental health too, I think, was greatly affected by that. So getting that in check has started the process of putting all these other things back together. So I would say that's number one for me.
I think that's what Nourishment Redacted talked about too, going to the bathroom once a month or once every 2 weeks, and having it be a major event, or it was like major pain and embarrassment, all this stuff.
Extremely painful.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So yeah, I get it. If that was my case, that would probably be number one too. So what about you guys? How about you, John? What was the number one thing you think?
Well, now it would be emotional health, but before it was other things. It was lower back problems that I had that were really, that would come and go. But if I look at all list of 10 or 15 improvements, weight was one of them. I would say it's emotional health, big time. I used to have depression and get moody and everything. And I'm so much more level most of the time, or up, because of this. And that's just amazing.
All right. How about you, Christie?
I think for me, it would be, it's kind of a toss up between, I guess it kind of all goes together though, like the energy and like the mental clarity.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was just more tired because I was getting older. So I think all of us have said our age now. I'm 48.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, I'm into my 40s now. And so that's what happens. We just go downhill. No, we don't. Not if we're eating proper food. We don't. And so it affects me so much every day, like whether I'm teaching or whether I'm at home with my kids or whatever, I have so much more energy to do things. you know, I'm still an introvert. I still like to curl up with a good book on the couch, but if it's time to go and, you know, whatever the thing is, I don't dread it. I have energy to go do it. So it just makes for a huge quality of life difference for me.
As far as the energy thing too, yeah, I used to, even like when I'd take my dog for a walk around the block, I dread having to go out and do that. Like that was a chore or something. And now it's like, I can't wait. It's like, all right,
let's go. Go
Yeah,
multiple
let's go have
times.
fun. It's so different. Hey, Holly's got a question about boar's head pepperoni sticks as between meal snacks. I think most pepperoni sticks usually have a lot of bad stuff in them. I mean, I wouldn't make it your only snack. I mean, if you want some variety, in my personal, I did bacon. I think bacon's a cleaner source, but it's still not super clean. I mean,
I don't know boar's head. I don't know what their ingredients are. They'd have to look at the ingredients. And then again, they're using it as a snack between meals.
Yeah.
And a snack is usually an emotional event. Like, what are you snacking for? If you ate to satiety in your first meal, are you eating because you're really hungry or because you're bored, upset, mad, angry, frustrated? Or because you've always snacked and so you're used to having a snack. I mean, there's a reason behind eating when it's a snack.
Yeah, and we developed those bad habits from eating all this processed garbage.
Right.
So we have these habits we're carrying in, these failure patterns into a success engine.
Right.
And you have to really treat it different.
And that being said, you know, this, whatever this is, boar's head pepperoni sticks is probably way, way less bad than Doritos and popcorn and chips and whatever else. So, you know, there's degrees of health. And I guess that could be a stepping stone to getting off of snacks. Yeah.
And if you do, you can also like dehydrated ribeyes. I've seen people pound them down flat and put them dehydrated and make their own jerky. That's really healthy. Yeah. Just salt and meat. I mean, that's, or pemmican, if you want to make pemmican or buy pemmican. And you don't have to buy carnivore bars. There's cheaper pemmican out there. Which is
you can see my video, shameless plug, on my channel for my high-fat pemmican bars and my ground beef jerky. That's my
yeah. There you go. That would be way cleaner, right? So that's like different degrees of cleaning. But again, and you know, when I started, I did carnivore dirty, and when I say dirty, I snacked a lot, is what I mean.
All right.
And now I don't. When I do snack, I get a slice of butter. I'll do that every now and then. And but yeah, snacking, I have a video on that, and I talk about dealing with that. It's like, listen, if you get that urge to snack, first thing you got to do is, you know, you can either got a couple options. You can get a water and drink that while you wait. You can take a task on, answer emails. You can go outside and get some sun and take a walk and then come back and see if you
do
still want
something.
Snack. And, you know, or you can replace a snack with something that's healthier, which I did a lot of. But I kind of started doing all those things, and now I don't snack barely at all. How do you guys don't snack too much, do you?
No.
Pretty rarely.
I'm like you, Larry. If anything, it'll be some butter.
Yeah. What about you, Nia?
Super rare.
I've been so trying to dial in my true hunger signals that sometimes I think I would say things that I eat would qualify as a snack. But because I'm trying to, I think I used to eat too much in one sitting, and that was messing up my digestion too. I think my gut just couldn't handle eating like one meal a day or even sometimes 2 meals to get full. I would still get hungry, you know, during that 16, 18-hour period of fasting. So I guess I would say not snacking in the sense that I'm just grabbing kind of mindlessly a bite of thing here or there, but like perhaps a small meal in between like the meals that I had planned out for that day. Yeah. So like I'm super, super loose at this point with my meal structure just because I've had issues with over fasting and kind of over managing my time windows and stuff in the past. And so I'm trying to just honor, like, whenever I am hungry, I'm going to eat something just to let my body know that it's safe and it's going to get what it wants, and to try to reduce that stress level around it. So that's kind of a long-winded answer, but
yeah, but we're going to.
But it's not in the mindset of like just, oh, I'm kind of like feeling like something, so I'm just going to eat.
And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on your channel, right?
Yeah,
yeah, we are.
That's good. Oh, you're on it too. Great. That's great. Yeah, it'll be fun. So we're doing the mastermind thing tomorrow. We're talking about eating OMAD, 2MAD, whatever. and whatever you guys do. Mine changes so much. I can't say I'm mad or too mad. Some days I just eat once. Some days I eat twice. Some days I eat 3 times. Today I had burger and eggs. I had eggs twice and burger once. I ate 3 times, but it was all within like a 7-hour period. So, and now I'm just not going to eat till I go to bed and wake up. So I don't know. It just depends. And I had a workout today. I had a really good workout. So I think that's why I ate more. And I ate a lot. I ate a lot of raw eggs because I do raw eggs when I work out, which makes me feel great. I don't know what it is, but Holly says, thanks for answering the question. Bruce is going to check out your recipe. That's great. Let's see. Carnivore Scott. For me, feeling need to eat when my wife does not hungry, but feel pressure to support her. Yeah, that's another thing. It's got to be kind of different, right? If you're with a partner who eats like the construct meals, I like to call them, the 3 meals a day, then, it's easy to skip breakfast. I think you can probably get away with that, but lunch and dinner, I don't know. It just depends on how your social thing goes in the house. But I sit down with my son when he eats, and he eats breakfast, and I'll just drink water and sit at the table with him. I do that and talk, ask him how he likes it. And so I do some of that. I don't know. Do you guys ever feel kind of pressured to sit down when your partners are eating or whatever?
We have never really eaten as a family like that because of everyone's schedules and because of my kids' food sensitivities and allergies and all that stuff. So it just, when my diet changed, it didn't really change. The only thing it changed was I do cook a lot more with my son now because now he's eating like me. So that part's cool. So I'm teaching him how to make, like he just came home and he went in there and made himself some carnivore pizza pockets. He didn't talk to me. He just went in there and did it. So he knows how to do that now. So that part is cool. My husband's had a variety of different jobs, and right now he basically leaves for work just right before I come home. So I come home and I eat, he's already gone, and then he gets home from work and I'm already in bed. So, our schedules don't really allow for it anyway.
Wow. Shifts passing in the night, huh?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty similar over here. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he has Sunday off and then Monday off. So teachers, we do get a lot of Mondays off. There's a lot of Monday holidays. So we see each other, then, but yeah.
And Nia, you said you had the same situation?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Ben works like noon till after we, like midnight, basically. So the morning is really the only family meal that we have. So, and I typically don't eat breakfast. So I'm always like making everyone's breakfast, but then we do try to sit down as the 3 of us and eat together. But I've been drinking my decaf or water, and sometimes I eat. But it's kind of just like a chat time too. So there's other things going on besides just the food bringing us together. So that works. But yeah, as far as the rest of the meals, we're just kind of, whenever we're hungry, the little one and I just eat, and then he eats when he gets home.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of I do with my son when he's here. And usually it's just me because I'm solo. So it's easy when it's just you. It's too easy. You just eat when you want to and don't when you don't. But when my son's here, sometimes I'll forget to eat and he'll be like, Dad, are we going to eat? I'm like, a teenage boy, like, yes, we're going to eat. Let me go get something going and I'll grill up some barbecue, some burgers or something. Let's see. Holly says she doesn't think she eats large enough portions at a time. I think a lot of people do that because it's so satiating and they're not used to actually eating satiating food, that they don't eat large enough portions. I think that's pretty common. I think a couple doctors talk about. I think Dr. Kiltz and Dr.
Chafee talks about that.
Chafee talks about that, yeah,
because especially when you're first starting, you don't know how to eat properly because you're still brainwashed that fat is bad and meat is bad, and so you're overcoming that. And I know when I first started with keto, we had a scale, and I was taught to weigh, only have so much protein. And stop, cut it and only have a little piece, even if you were still hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't learn to eat until satiety. So, people are on different stages of that learning curve and transitioning when they transition to carnivore. But it's important to eat until it stops tasting good. and to eat a little slower than you normally would. A lot of people eat like a Rottweiler. You know, they eat ravenously, and you just have to slow down so that your body signals can talk to your brain and say it doesn't taste good anymore.
Hey, DC joined us. What's up?
Hey,
How's it down
DC.
there in Brizzy? How's it in Brizzy?
Hey guys,
Briz Vegas.
Hey.
good.
Bris Vegas.
It's raining today. Actually, it's raining and windy,
Hmm.
but it's all good.
Nice.
We need the water.
He
It's
just
the
woke
fall.
up, I think.
It's the fall, right? Down there?
It's
Okay.
it's autumn we call it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, so here's another statement, another question based follow on to what we were just talking about. Are a few pork rinds okay to snack on? And here's what she says that's interesting. Sometimes I'm still hungry and don't want to cook again or saving for the next day. I'm late afternoon OMAD several days a week, less hungry on 2MAD. So if you're less hungry on 2MAD, you should probably be eating 2MAD, I think. What you need to do is just eat when you're hungry.
Yeah.
And not just try to restrict your diet.
Yeah, I think too many people they keep trying to go OMAD, and like it's a requirement of the carnivore diet.
not.
You don't need to do that. If you can't eat big enough in one meal, have 2 meals, have 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter. But as long as you stick to your carnivore diet, you don't have to limit it down to 1 meal a day.
I was just saying I ate 3 today, and I had burger patties, and then I had 2 times where I had raw eggs in the blender with a little bit of heavy whipping cream and some salt, and I ate those. And that's my meals I had today. And I ate a dozen eggs a day, and some beef, and that's all I needed. But I ate 3 times, right? I got hungry 3 times, and I ate 3 times.
Yeah.
And I worked out today, so and when I don't work out, I usually only get hungry a couple times, so I might just eat twice or maybe just once, depending on my physical activity that day.
Yeah, there's so many different factors that contribute to that too. And like you said, exercise is a big one. And I find like I'm so tuned into stress and trying to manage stress and making sure that, that's low so that I can continue to heal other things. But I notice when my stress levels are different, my appetite's different too. And I think that I'm hungry, but then there's that like food comfort thing coming back in. And now I can notice that as a trigger versus I don't think that I was nearly as aware of it in the past. So like even that snacking habit for me can sometimes I have to stop and be like, okay, am I wanting this because I'm really, really hungry, or am I just wanting this because it makes me feel better in the moment?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do emotional snacking for sure. I have the same thing. I still get those cravings to do an emotional snack sometimes. And
like good snackers, like if you want to snack, if you really want to snack, bacon's a good snack, or just fat, beef fat, something like that.
Fried
And the
beef fat, like air fried.
Bacon has the salt, and the salt also helps crave your appetite too. So some people who are trying to fast, actually, if they're doing that, I don't do that anymore. But people trying to do a long-term fast, they get it. All they need to do is drink some pickle juice or some salt water or something, so when you're having bacon, which is salty and has just the right amount of fat and everything, that just totally satisfies you, and it's great for a snack. Pork rinds, salty.
Yep.
Fatty, but again, with the snacking, I try mentally to remember that, why am I wanting a snack?
Yeah. Question yourself.
I just ate a few hours ago. Am I really sensing hunger, or what's going on there? And then I sometimes, like you said, Larry, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go for a bike ride. I'm going to go do something. And it only takes a few minutes to get your mind off of that urge, and it dissipates until dinner time,
Yeah, a lot of it is boredom.
And boredom. Yeah.
Sparkling water will get you going too, because you drink it, it kind of
the bubbles.
For me, it fills me up. So I'll drink a sparkling water, and then I won't want to snack. So if you have those ready and standby in the fridge door, you can just grab one, and that can be your first go-to. Now, after you drink your sparkling water, if you're still hungry, that's probably real hunger, because you've taken a break, you've stepped back, you've had something, you've drank, put something in your stomach, and if you're still hungry, then you might really need a snack. Maybe your body's saying, I need nourishment, right? But that's one thing that we just have to learn how to do, is listen to our body. But, we're so broken coming into this thing. Now I'm a year into it. I think I'm good. I know when I'm really hungry. And when I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, man. I'm going to go after it. I need
And it
something big.
tastes
So, Larry-
when you're really hungry, it's really enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
steak
It
is really good when you're hungry.
Nia?
When would you say you, because I know you mentioned in the beginning that you had strong cravings, obviously, and most of us do. And when would you say, how long was it before you really thought, like, I've got a hold on this? You know, you were really more in touch with hunger and satiety and things like that.
I think 10 months into it, about, you know, nine to 10 months is when I really got it down. I think after 6 months, I was pretty good. I was not snacking nearly. The first 6 months, I was cooking a pound of bacon. Well, not the first six, probably the first 4 months. I was doing a pound of bacon a day. And I was frying it up, putting it in the fridge, and eating it. And just, I would snack on it. Sometimes it would last till the next day, and I'd eat some the next day, you know. But I typically went through a pound a day. And then after 4 or 5 months, I would do a pound a week, kind of. I still have it in the fridge, my bag bacon. And now I don't do it at all. So I think after about 6 months, I stopped doing it. But now at 10, I really have an understanding, like my body. I know when I get hungry, I'm hungry. Oh, look, you no longer black screen. You got nice sun.
He's on the beach.
I got too much black. The chair's black. My t-shirt's black. So it's
Yeah.
not the blame. It look like a floating head.
He did. You're looking good though, man. Looking good. Thanks for joining us, DC.
Pleasure to be here, mate. Always. Happy Carniversary, by the way.
It is. Yeah. This is pretty exciting, man. A year in. And listen, guys, when I started, I want to ask you guys when you started too. Well, I know DC, you have a different story, but when I started, I never planned to do this for a year. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this carnivore diet for a month and see how it goes. And then I'll make the decision at the end of the month. And then after that month, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how good I feel. This is crazy. And then after the second month, I'm going to do one more month. And then after the second month, it got better. And I'm like, wow, it can't keep getting better. And it did. And after the third month, I'm like, I'm never going to quit. I'm just not going to quit. This is insane how good I feel and how everything's completely changed. What was your guys' attitude coming into it? Were you like, this is it, I'm going to go carnivore forever? Or was it, I'm going to try this thing out and see how it goes? And when did you make your decision to actually go full carnivore and just stay there, which I assume you are since you have channels on it?
Now I'm gonna delete my channel again, Larry, and give this up. Well, you know my story. I was keto first to lose weight. You know, a lot of people start this to lose weight, and then it was just amazing. And then I went ketovore, and I stuck with it. And I'm like, I just transitioned into carnivore. So my answer is a little different than yours because I didn't just start to go carnivore. So it's life. It's my way of life. I can, you know, I there's no way that I could go back. And I started, I guess you could say I started originally just to try it out and see what it was like. And just like you, Larry, it's like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. Oh my gosh. And then the knowledge base, you know, I just kept learning more and more epiphanies. Like, oh my God. And then I had to start my channel. I'm like, I got to tell other people about this. This is just, I can't keep this to myself. It's improved my life. So, and it's free, you know, and I'm actually saving money. You know, I didn't spend as much on the standard.
Not only is it free, it's cheaper than what you're doing now.
Yeah, and you look better and you feel better about yourself, and just so many pluses.
Oh man, yeah. I go into the gym and I like what I see when I'm lifting. I like the way
in the mirror. I
feel like I'm back in college. I do. That's just, I can't explain it any
You're
other
proud
way.
of yourself. You built your self-esteem up, and all of that. Your confidence. You're better at everything else that you do.
Yep.
You know, you're probably better at your work. I'm better at retirement.
You're really good at retiring.
I'm really good at retirement. I mean, I'm reading now. We talked about reading before, and I hated reading growing up. The only things I liked to read were how to do things, how to fix things. I hated fiction. And now I'm buying a lot of books. Of course, you know, I'm buying Chafee's book and Barry's book and Nia Teicholz's book and Sally K. Norton's book. And I'm just ravenously like, oh my gosh, I'm so drawn into this knowledge. I get those dopamine hits from knowledge now that help me be a better person. So I'm still getting my dopamine hits, but not from food.
So, Christie, what about you? When you started, was it just a month you were going to try it, or what was your mindset coming in?
Yeah, my answer is sort of similar to John's because, like I had said earlier, it was just like an accidental thing that I did out of like laziness. But then all the mental benefits, the physical benefits, it's like, whoa, like, man, I lost weight on keto. That was great. But all these other benefits, I didn't even know this stuff was like wrong. And now it's put right. And so, yeah, I'm planning on sticking with it. Why would I want to go back? Like there's nothing back there for me. So it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know, a lot of us say that. So all the knowledge that I've learned about it, because I didn't research it ahead of time, since it was just kind of like, you know, I didn't feel like cooking the vegetables, so I just didn't. Then after I was doing it for a while, then I started researching it, you know, and learning about, oh, okay, well, that's why I feel so much better, you know, and yeah, I have no reason to go back. So
Yeah.
What about Nia? I know you were a progression. We already talked a little about that, but when you did go carnivore and then you came off it and now you're back on it, was it the second time going on? What was your mindset? I'm curious because you did leave, you went back.
Yeah, and that was during pregnancy, so I didn't really intend to come off of it, but I had meat aversion. I had aversion to everything. I mean, everything smelled absolutely awful. So, I mean, I struggled to eat much of anything the first 3 months or so. So it was sort of just one of those situations where I just tried to get through it and consume like something. And then I think, I mean, these are all theories, but I think I perhaps had some sort of gestational diabetes, perhaps because I really, after post-pregnancy, I struggled with blood sugar issues more than I ever had. And I failed my glucose tolerance test. Essentially, I mean, I was close, but I pretty much failed it during pregnancy. And so, you know, then I had more concerns about like, okay, I need to do this because my gut symptoms had improved so much that I thought, oh, maybe I can add things back in and have, you know, a little bit more of a varied diet. But, you know, the further I went, the more I realized, no, I'm not well yet. And so why would I already know the path to go down to where I felt my best and where things actually started to improve. And so I kind of had a bunch of starting points and then falling off the wagons again. And then it was this last July where I was like, okay, I need, like, if I want to be a good mother, if I want to be a good partner, I need to be healthy. And so I have to, you know, make that commitment to myself again.
That's a big why. That's a big why. That's why you do it. And DC, we all know your why, but why don't you just share a little bit about that? Like when you actually went carnivore, what was your mindset going in? Was it like, this is it? This is the rest of my life? Or were you just going to try it and see how it affected your cancer?
Yeah, it was more just another thing I've been trying to find another way to try and get my lymphatic system up and, you know, working properly, and building my immune system. So it was kind of like I'll give it a try and I'll either prove it or disprove it. But you know, my first and then my second blood test was like, well, I don't see a better way of eating. So this, you know, it's a clean way of eating. It's the, I mean, it's our natural diet, you know. And the more you learn about that, the fact that, you know, you learn that everything that previously has been such a lie, there's no turning back, you know. When you know what it does for you, and you feel for yourself how good it is. So yeah, for me, 6 months in, you know, I was like, there's no turning back. This is, I mean, whether I keep going with the channel or not, you know, this would be the way I'm going to continue to eat. The channel, I mean, for me, it's not, I'm not really just all about, like Carnivore is just part of it, you know. It's just this is just part of my life. It's just one small part of my life. And the rest of it, you know, it's about trying to find a new way to live. So, but, you know, as far as eating is concerned, there's certainly, there's just nothing else that we can do for food. And like talking to others, like we tend to try and overcomplicate food for some reason. I don't know why. People always want a complicated answer rather than a simple answer, and it's always is the simple way of eating is usually the healthiest.
The Occam's razor.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's so many things in life are that way, I think.
Yeah. Well, you think it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy, but
right.
it is.
It can't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just is. So I got a question here, Larry. Now you've experienced 1 year on carnivore. Does year number 2 going to be any different? Any new goals and changes for the next year? Yes. And it's because I started lifting in the gym again, and I never thought I would do that either. There's a lot of things I never thought I'd do again. And now that I'm in the gym and I'm getting amazing results, just amazing workouts where I don't get tired. I just run out of time and have to leave the gym. So I cut my workouts kind of not short, but like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I'm out. I have to go do my life, but I don't get exhausted like I used to. Even in college, I would work out till I was like trashed and walk out shaking, and I don't get that way anymore. I just get it's amazing. I can just keep doing sets like Anthony, like Dr. Chapey said. So I think what's going to be different is my fitness level is going to be my new focus this year, and getting my physical fitness up. My mental health is good. I want my physical fitness to catch up to my mental health. And basically I want to be in the best shape. My goal is by the time I'm 60 years old to be in the best shape of my life. That's my goal. And that's an achievable goal. I know it is now.
Yeah.
I'll be 58 in a couple days or a couple weeks. And so I got 2 years to get in shape, and I can totally do it because I'm already getting there now. And I think that's the big difference of year 2 is focusing on physical fitness and just, I mean, I'm already getting so much more out of life. I can tell you guys, I appreciate so much more out of life now. I don't know why. It's just like that motivation, the positivity. I love my life. That's what I can say. And I didn't love my life this time last year. I did not love my life. I was surviving my life. And now I love my life. So I think that's different. DC question. What are your thoughts on cereal supplements?
Cereal supplements. They're not really what you would class as supplements. Supplements are like pharmaceutical produced that are supposed to supplement your diet that is lacking in nutrients. Cereal is more about enhancing what even a proper human diet sort of thing. So they're stem cell enhancer, for example. I haven't tried these myself, but I have been thinking about this because they are endorsed by some good people like Bart Kay. So I am thinking about trying these myself, actually. So I'll let you know how I go. But these are the only things that I would consider to try. Because, again, like I said, they're not actually supplements, they're enhancers. Whereas supplements are pharmaceutical made, and they have all sorts of binders like from veggie gum and other things, the seed oils, and they also break down in your stomach, so you don't really get anything out of them. Plus, a lot of them are not, really. I mean, a lot of it are plant. A lot of supplements are plant based as well. So,
yeah.
But I have the stem cell one. I'm definitely thinking about trying. I was on something similar to that while I was going through treatment the first time before they collected my stem cells for my autonomous transplant. They put me on a supplement, on an enhancer like that, and that combined with lifting and fasting, my stem cell count was 99.4% viable, and that was an incredible number. Usually, people going through heavy chemotherapy like myself, like their stem cell count, their viable stem cell count is down around 5 to 10%.
Wow! So it actually worked.
Well, that had helped.
Yeah.
But my regime plus the fact that I'd spent I was very fit at the time beforehand, before treatment and heavy lifting. When you go through phases of like lifting heavy weights and fasting, your body will start producing more stem cells as well naturally. So you can do it naturally. You can produce stem cells doing that. Okay, you can stimulate your body to produce more. Because everyone always produces stem cells, and like the average like so-called healthy person on a standard Western diet sort of thing will produce 20 to 30% sort of viable. So it just depends on where you're at. But if you're fit enough and you fast, then yes, you can produce more. But the drugs the drugs that they gave me to help me produce more, I think really put me over the top. So, but yeah, as far as Cyril's concerned, I'll let you know when I try it for myself.
Do a video on it or something. I'd love to hear about it too.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them. They're from California. It looks like Irvine. We got a question from Ray Lang. How do you know if you're getting enough fat? Is it a sense, or do you sort of measure? I eat chicken and turkey a fair bit. Both are not high in fat. That's correct. And I mean, basically, I don't measure any macros, and I eat fatty meats and fatty cuts if I can to satiety, and that's how I measure fat, and or burger with fat ground into it. And I don't eat any turkey basically. I mean, every now and then at barbecue, I'll have a couple pieces for my son because he gets it. And chicken, I haven't eaten in, I don't think in 10 months have I had a piece of chicken because it's just not even. I don't desire it anymore. I really desire the fatty meats. And once you've been on, Ray, you probably haven't been on very long if you're eating turkey and chicken. Do you guys eat turkey and chicken still, the rest of you guys? And if you do, how often, and does it satiate you?
So I don't really ever eat turkey except at Thanksgiving, but that's been me my whole life. I used to eat tons more chicken. I mean, like even like keto and stuff. Now I very rarely eat chicken. So if I do, it's chicken thighs with the skin on. I actually just took my last package out to unthaw. I'll probably eat them tomorrow, but I don't think I've eaten them in over a month. So I'm mostly beef with the occasional chicken. And it doesn't usually, like, I'll probably have to put something with that chicken or I know I'm not going to stay full. Even with the chicken thighs and the skin. And I brush them in bacon fat before I cook them. But it's super rare, but I don't really measure either. So even if I'm eating beef, I'll just want I'll crave it with some butter. That's kind of how I know. Sometimes if I'm eating my steak, I won't want it with butter. And sometimes it sounds super delicious with butter. And I just listen to that and add a little butter if I feel like I want it.
I do the same. How about you, Nia? Do you guys eat a lot of chicken and turkey?
Turkey, no. Really none at all. And I don't even think we had it for Thanksgiving this year. I think I made Cornish hens. So chicken instead. But I mean, I like chicken thighs, but I don't think that they are something that I need all the time. And I definitely think with my sort of autoimmune type things that I have left to solve that I need to be eating chicken. So I'm, 90%, I'm about to start the lion diet again. I wasn't going to tell anybody, but
we got the announcement.
I think
newsflash.
Yeah. Here's a good opportunity to do that. So I just went today and stocked up on, they had whole briskets for like $2.97 a pound. So I just cut up a big one of those and froze all of it. I'm making jerky right now, so I'm like primarily beef, but I did track for a while my macros. And I know that's not probably the majority of people need to do that, but I thought I was eating high enough fat, but I was having some sleep problems. Just 1 second, baby. So I did track for about a week, very diligently in Chronometer. And I realized that I was probably eating like 60% fat and that I needed to up that significantly. So I'm shooting for like an 80-20 right now, just to get into sort of that more therapeutic range. But I don't do that every day because it's crazy to try to track every day.
And when you said sleep was the thing you were trying to dial in on, I've heard that before. So we're just answering this question, John. If you want to jump in.
Yeah, sorry, I had to reboot Chrome and everything.
right.
It just froze and quit on me. So thanks for letting me back in. There was the question about doing poultry.
Yeah, and if whether or not we are eating enough fat. And what I said was I don't do any macros at all. I just eat eat red meats with fat.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
don't track anymore. I did when I was keto. I just eat. I try to make sure all my meals are fatty. And if there's not enough fat, I add fat. I add butter. I add ghee. I have saved in the refrigerator. I have any of the fat drippings I've saved in glass containers, and I'll add fat. Like I was telling Christie, I cut the big thick layer of fat off the picanha sometimes, and I'll put it in the food processor and just save it to add to other meals. We do chicken like once a week. Chicken wings or a whole chicken. Again, I don't like to do a lot of chicken because it's higher in omega-6 fatty acids. And I don't eat the breast. I eat the wings and the thighs, and I add ghee to it. Ghee is so good with chicken. It tastes good, and I salt it. So that's how I do chicken and add fat.
DC?
Yeah, I don't eat chicken so much. Here you can't get chicken that's not grain fed. It's all it's full of hormones and stuff. For one, I've never been big on the legs or wings or anything. I've always thought chicken legs and wings are just a waste of time. To be honest, there's not enough meat for too much bone. So I was always like the chicken breast, but I haven't had any chicken or any bird meat for over a year now. I do like fish. I like if I'm in Japan, especially if you get nice fresh, I'll eat raw fish. But other than that, I just eat very fatty beef. Any cut I can get cheap, and I do eat fat by itself. But I think the question is, how do you know if you're getting enough fat? Now, if, for example, you should be like carnivore is a very high fat, high protein diet. So as long as you've got, how much protein you take, try and double that in fat. And only other thing you need to concern yourself is how it affects your body. Some people don't have a problem with, for example, rendered fat. But other people, if you have fat that's already rendered before you eat it, will tend to go straight through you, and you'll regret trusting the gas. So just be mindful of that. Don't be afraid to eat too much fat. It'll just go straight through you. Your body cannot store. It's very, very difficult for the body to store fat from like actual dietary fat. So eat as much as you can, and because that is your energy source. Okay. If you get to the point where you eat too much fat, you'll definitely know it.
You'll know it.
I can second that.
We got another question. Yeah, I can third it. That works. We have another question. Does anyone take B1 in particular? Or do you find you get enough from pork? I was severely deficient coming from a vegan diet. It really helped my digestion and nervous system. I don't eat a lot of pork. I do eat some bacon, typically, maybe a little sausage every now and then, but barely any pork. I don't know if I'm getting enough B1, but I guess I get it from red meat. I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
We're getting everything we need from meat and eggs. Yeah.
Red meat, beef fat, you'll get a lot of B1. But if you're coming from a vegan diet, you're going to be like severely deficient. Right. So I would recommend eating. I wouldn't so much. I mean, it depends. If you can get like grass-fed sort of pork, which is very difficult to get, then eat that. But otherwise, bacon is a really good source of B1 plus potassium. I would stick with that.
Yep. And I don't know. I assume that I don't know enough about it, but I know when you go from a diet where you're eating vegetables that have nutrient blockers or anti-nutrients in them, that when you go to a pure meat diet, you don't need the same levels of RDA for these vitamins and nutrients. I'm assuming B1's the same, like that vitamin C and vitamin D, I assume, but I don't know for sure. Do you know, DC?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems though too with the vegan diet is not just that the high carbohydrate consumption it's also the high seed oil consumption, because they have seed oils in pretty much everything that's vegan, you know. Um, and yeah, coming off the vegetables, all those anti-nutrients and everything like that, it's going to take a while for your body to heal. So I think I think if you're going from vegan to carnivore, you should prime a lot. Just eat as much as you can, because it's going to take a lot of nutrients to heal your body. It really is. It takes time. And as much
Yeah.
fat as you can, you know, like I said, double, you should be like whatever grams you're taking in protein, you should at least double that in fat.
In grams or
Yeah,
calories?
Grams.
Okay.
Don't
That's
count
about where I'm
calories.
at.
Yeah, always in grams. We are mass in, mass out. Okay,
Yeah.
You cannot measure calories. You cannot when they say empty calories and all that sort of stuff, that's all BS. Right? Calories are empty always. I mean, how much does a calorie weigh? Okay,
Yeah.
so if
yeah.
you're
Depends what you're eating. Calorie of wood weighs a lot more than a calorie of beef,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. I mean, like, what the hell? Seriously. Anyone that thought that made sense is just off their rocker.
Yeah. Well, I think so. We've been at it for quite a while now. I know it's my Carniversary went a lot longer. I appreciate you guys joining me. And why don't you guys tell us what's going on in your channels? I know Nia, we got something coming up tomorrow. But let's just go around. We'll start with Christie and roll around. Then we're going to talk about their channels.
I am going to be on with Nia tomorrow, and you too, Larry. So yeah,
Yep.
Carnivore Mastermind. Nia is the mastermind behind Carnivore Mastermind, and it's so much fun. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think we're talking about like feeding and fasting windows. So I'm excited to talk about that. And then on Friday, I am interviewing her name is Heidi. She's kind of a newer channel. So if you want to check out a newer carnivore, she's also a teacher, John. She's a music teacher.
Oh, cool.
So yes, I'm excited to talk to her on Friday. So yep, that's what's coming up with me.
Cool. Yeah.
Me next. Yeah, my channel is Nia's Way, and yeah, I just post videos. I'm trying to do more recipe videos about what I'm eating and how to create some of the more perhaps like traditional oriented foods, meat-based foods that I'm eating. And then I do a couple live streams. So Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central, and then the Carnivore Mastermind series on Thursdays. So if any of you guys want to join in too, I've just emailed everybody I have contact info for. So if anybody wants to jump in, you can email me at niasway@gmail.com, and you can join in the mastermind too.
Cool.
And what time's that at on Central Time? Is 6 or?
Yeah, 6 Central.
Yeah. Okay. And I might be a few minutes late because I'm picking my son up from track practice. So just let you know. He gets out at 5. I probably won't be, but just might be. So don't. Yeah, just in case. Okay. What about you, John? Let's do this.
I'm chugging along, rebuilding my channel, putting out a video every day around 9 a.m. Eastern time that I previously had out, and a new one every Monday and Friday. So and I had to do some in advance because I'm taking this trip, and I had to schedule them so that they still show up. So I've been really busy scheduling my teaching videos. So, but they'll still be going on daily. I just finished an interview with Dave Mack, and that just posted tonight. He was such a gracious host, and we covered
Great guy.
Yeah, a lot of different things. And Dr. Berry posted my song, which I just did for the heck of it. I did it for fun. Some guy wrote lyrics to a carnivore song, and I just said, "Oh, I have that karaoke. Let me just record it." And both Sean Baker and Dr. Ken Berry posted it on their pages, and all these people are saying, "Oh my God, I heard your song." So that's helping my channel a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
DC, what you got going on, man?
Well, I'm doing a few things. I just did. I'm going through some of the ingredients that you get in, these some processed foods. And I did one the other day on Starbucks, like lattes and things like that, and just showing people like how many seed oils but if you get yourself say a grande latte from Starbucks, you got about 7 donuts worth of sugar and about five different seed oils in that latte. One actually is like carrageenan. Yeah, carrageenan. They actually use carrageenan, whatever it's how you pronounce it.
Nasty
They actually
stuff.
use that. Oh, it's nasty stuff. It really
yeah.
is. They actually use that to induce tumors in the lab so that they can
Yeah.
study these, like to try
Wow.
and yeah. So these sorts of things that are in your your Starbucks sort of coffees and things like that. So I'm doing that, and I'm still doing interviews. So if anyone like has a story that they would like to share with everyone, like a story of healing or whatever on Carnivore, just send me an email, and we'll get you on.
But you haven't interviewed me yet, have you? For your channel?
I'm not sure, have I?
I don't think so. I think I interviewed
Do it,
you.
Larry. DC's a good host. He's a
If you want to
right.
he's a
interview
great
me,
host.
we'll figure it out. I think
All right, we'll do that.
Christie,
So
you're
is
in
Christie.
California.
Yeah.
So I think Starbucks had to list coffee as a carcinogenic for a while, didn't they? By California law.
I know
seeing
we
that.
have that law here. I don't remember seeing that. It wouldn't surprise me. I think if they had to, unless they changed their ingredients, they would still have to. It would
They did
be
have
posted.
to. I'm pretty sure, but I think they appealed or something and they got an exception, I think. But they had to list their coffee as a carcinogen because it is.
Yeah, it is. It's
Wow.
toxic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna drop you guys off. If you guys stick around, I'll just say goodbye real quick. Let me just say goodbye and I'll jump in. All right, guys. Just another great hump day, and glad you guys shared it with me as my Carniversary. I appreciate you being here. And all I gotta say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.